Welcome to the first death battle on my channel. No, not that one. I'll actually be using statistics and measurements from the show instead of just a basic surface level knowledge of what I'm talking about. This is going to be a more scientific approach than the other death battle show you're probably thinking of, which is mostly for entertainment, as the creators have said. I will actually be using research that I've done for this. This has taken me a little bit to research because I want it to be as thorough as possible. So before we get started, I just want to plug my Facebook group. This is where the idea came from, and this is where the combatants were chosen from. I posted a couple of polls, people voted, here we are. Probably not the best idea because, as you'll see in a little bit, this is a pretty one-sided fight, but we'll get to that. So, the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to compare each of the combatants on a stat-by-stat basis. Their speed, their durability, their offensive moveset, their attributes or special traits that may help them in the fight, and then I'll go over a quick rundown of who I think would win in an actual fight between these two. Now, because the show we're doing today is My Little Pony, neither of these characters have the killer mindset, I would say. So, while death may happen, they're probably each not setting out to kill, which is why anything that would incapacitate one of the combatants will score wins. So, battlefield removal, knocking someone out, hurting them to the point to where they can't continue fighting, or death, anything like that. If I think one of the combatants or ponies in this situation would be unable to continue fighting, I will call it there. So, that's who I think will win. So we're doing, I know you've already seen the title, Rainbow Dash versus Trixie. Let's begin with their speed, which is the most laughable stat to compare. I'll start with Trixie because it's a lot more tame. So Trixie's top speed running is about 30 miles per hour. I've calculated it using trees as a barometer for her movement distance, and her fastest showing was running away from the Ursa Minor. I kind of just took that, got a rough approximation of how tall the trees were, because the female ponies are about 4 foot tall, so using a tree, because it's just easier to measure with something long and flat like that, you know, displaying over seconds how long it took her to move. It's about 12.7 meters per second, so pretty fast. That's a pretty decent speed. But Rainbow Dash, her top flight speed, and this has been calculated to be at around Mach 5 before the Sonic Rainboom. We can tell this for several reasons, mainly the Mach cone she produces and how it angles in. You can just kind of measure the angle of the Mach cone and tell about how fast she's going. She's going about Mach 5. There's no way to get an approximate speed. You can't really calculate it to a dot. So Mach 5 is a fair assessment of her speed stat. However, the Sonic Rainboom, after she activates and does the whole Rainboom thing, she doubles her speed. Like, her movement speed just straight doubles. So, she is at the very least going Mach 10 after her Rainboom. The speed here is just fucking ridiculously different. I mean, there's no real feasible way for Trixie to keep up with Rainbow Dash's speed. However, for speed, I will say Trixie has teleportation. Now, this is an instant movement after startup. So after Trixie decides she wants to use it, charges the magic in her horn, and then casts the spell, it is instantaneous movement. Now, we haven't seen her teleport very far distances, but she would easily be able to teleport around the battlefield. This is obviously going to Rainbow Dash. I don't think anyone's surprised. So, let's talk about durability. Trixie doesn't have any durability, showings or feats in the show, so we're just gonna kind of approximate that she has, average durability for ponies, which is a bit more than your average human. They can take bumps and hits that would probably knock a human out or maybe even kill them, but not too insane. Rainbow Dash has a couple of durability feats that I want to go over real quick. She's survived an explosion that covered Ponyville in snow. when she was in the Cloudsdale Cloud Factory, trying to stop winter so Tank wouldn't have to hibernate, she survived a gigantic explosion that, I mean, it covered the entirety of Ponyville in a thick snow. So, pretty big explosion. And she also resisted the yells of the Great Dragon that shook the entire mountain range. It did fling her back, but she was able to resist them for a little bit. Would be considered a mountain level attack, like it didn't shatter the mountains, but it was enough to shake the entire mountain range. So, a bit more durable than your average pony. Nothing too crazy that we've seen, so I'm not going to put her durability super high or anything, but pretty durable. This is where we move on to their attack pool, I guess I would call it, or their offensive move set. We'll start with Trixie, because she's probably got the weirdest of the two. Firstly, she can use telekinesis, which is very helpful. She's been shown to be able to manipulate pony-sized objects and ponies, move them around, throw them around, stuff like that. I think the largest thing she's been shown to be able to move is a trolley, like a cart, that she lived in. So, relatively decently sized objects. Heavy, good sized objects. She seems to have complete manipulation over them. She can throw them, pick them up, flip them around. She also has minor transmutation, but I don't think this would come up very often. So, I'm just gonna throw that out there. Her main offensive gimmick is probably going to be her magical beams and bullets. She, like all unicorns, has the ability to shoot these beams and, like, ball-sized objects out, causing, what appears to be kinetic damage. I'm not sure how the damage scales or what it is, but it appears to have some sort of kinetic impact, because it's shown knocking ponies back, or, breaking stuff when it hits. So I don't think it's quite light. I don't think it's magical damage. I'm sure there's some kind of magical effect, but I feel like it's more of a kinetic beam or a push. So this could be used to incapacitate Rainbow Dash from afar, so she doesn't have to get up in close quarters combat with her. She also has smoke grenades, which are probably going to be the trickiest thing to implement, but it could definitely buy Trixie some time if she needs to reposition or confuse Rainbow Dash. She's been shown to be able to use these almost instantly with no delay. They're in some position that just is super easy for her to access. I believe this is going to come in handy in the fight. Again, mainly for confusion purposes, stopping Rainbow Dash from landing a blow or two, repositioning, getting behind Rainbow Dash, stuff like that. But as far as offensive moves go, that's about what she has, showings-wise. Rainbow Dash, on the other hand, has quite a few showings. So we're going to start with the basics. Rainbow Dash has a dive kick, and we've seen this dive kick basically chop 3 trees in half in one go. It does take a little charge up, because she has to elevate herself to a high enough altitude to be able to come in with enough speed to really deliver the kinetic impact that is required to deal that much damage. But it's a pretty fast move. It's really easy to implement, especially if she's already in the air. Really powerful. If Trixie were to get hit with this, I don't think it would be an instant knockout, but I think it would do enough damage to weaken her to the point where she will have a handicap for the rest of the fight. Because, I mean, if she gets hit center mass, it's going to break ribs, it's going to knock her down, it's going to discombobulate her. Just a really good basic attack. Rainbow Dash also has the Sonic Rain Boom. So this is where the video gets a bit wonky, because I don't know what the Sonic Rain Boom is. No one really does. So we know that after she uses it, her speed doubles. And if we're going with the calculations that I've done and other people have done, she will go from Mach 5 to Mach 10. That's fast. But there are other people who claim that she gets near the speed of light and causes a photonic boom. Now, this may not be as ridiculous as it sounds, because my theory is that when something with that much mass gets close enough to the speed of light, it causes its own photonic boom. So because she weighs so much and compared to a photon, which has 0 weight, 0 mass, she doesn't have to hit the speed of light. Let's say she gets 60% to the speed of light. With that much mass traveling that fast, the energy it creates would disrupt the photons around her, causing a photonic boom. That's headcanon as fuck, I know, but I can't really explain it any other way. Because Mach 10 is fast, but it's not going to disturb photons to create any kind of photonic boom like she does. So, we are going with the Mach 10, Mach 5 speeds, because I don't want this to just be a slaughter. But there's a possibility that Rainbow Dash is moving pretty close to the speed of light when she hits her sonic rainbow, creating a photonic boom. And afterwards could be going anywhere from 65 to 80% the speed of light. Now, again, that's headcanon, but there are a couple of statistics that would kind of support that a little bit. So we're just gonna say it's magic, sure. So she's only going Mach 10 after the rainbow. So she hits Mach 5, creates a sonic rainbow, which she does after creating a sonic boom already. She's already passed the speed barrier. So at Mach 5, she creates a sonic rainbow. This is a ridiculous move. It creates a shockwave that the photonic part of the shockwave can be seen across Equestria. It was seen by Applejack in Manhattan. It was seen by Pinky on the Rock Farm. It was seen in Canterlot by Twilight. This is a huge photonic shockwave. And the physical shockwave, the pressure wave it creates, was able to shatter a geode that Rarity was dragging back away from Ponyville. Calculations show that Rarity was about 192 miles away from Ponyville when the shockwave cracked a geode. So we have to remember that geodes are hollow on the inside. So it's not like it shattered a solid rock. But still, shattering through a couple of inches of solidified rock and crystal from almost 200 miles away, the shockwave is ridiculously powerful. So I'm guessing anything right beside the epicenter of the shockwave is dead, right? Let's just say you're within half a mile of the epicenter of the shockwave. Your brain is going to be scrambled. The obvious thing that people are going to say is, oh, well, Rainbow Dash should die then, because she's at the center. No, Rainbow Dash is the epicenter. You have to remember that when things cause a sonic boom or a photonic boom, they themselves are not being disrupted. They are disrupting the particles around them, or the waves around them. So when a sonic boom is created, the jet that creates the sonic boom isn't really affected, because it's affecting everything around it and traveling outward from the epicenter. It's like the eye of a hurricane. When you're in the eye of the storm, you don't really have any effects. But as soon as the eye wall passes over you, you start to experience the actual storm. The same can be said with any kind of boom, whether it be sonic or photonic. So, assuming that, Rainbow Dash we've seen no negative side effects from her activating the sonic rainbow. If she's able to hit the sonic rainbow relatively close to Trixie dies. That's game over. GG. Especially a low altitude sonic rainbow, where the shockwave can't travel in a circle through the air because the ground is going to stop it. It's going to intensify that shockwave. So, the problem with this is that Rainbow Dash has shown to struggle to activate this. So, saying that she can activate it in a timely fashion right beside Trixie is a bit of a stretch. She has to build up a lot of speed. She struggles to get to it. So she can't really time when she activates it. She can do it, but it's going to take her a little bit, and it's going to be distracting. She's going to have to focus solely on building up speed, and she's not going to be able to accurately predict where the sonic rainbow is going to go off. Because she's kind of just going as fast as she can, and then when she hits that speed, she just hits that speed. So, I don't think she'll be able to use this to kill Trixie, but I think even if she doesn't kill Trixie with it. If she activates Sonic Rainboom anywhere on the battlefield, it's gonna throw Trixie off. It's gonna knock her down. It's gonna confuse her. Like, it would be like standing next to a grenade or a bomb, but you have a wall between you. Sure, you're not gonna die, but that shockwave is still gonna mess you up. You're still gonna fall to the ground. Your ears are still gonna be ringing. You're gonna be confused and disorientated as shit for a couple of seconds at the very least. And then we have the biggest side effect. Rainbow Dash doubles her speed. So, after doing the Sonic Rainboom, she's going from Mach 5 to Mach 10. At this point, any move Rainbow Dash does that makes physical contact is going to take Trixie out of the fight. Because going from Mach 5 to Mach 10, just for explanation's sake, I did a little mathematical formula, which I'll throw up on screen now. And if Rainbow Dash were to make contact with Trixie going Mach 10, she would impart 988,251,600 joules of kinetic energy onto her. This translates, by the way, to 2.3 megatons of TNT. The bomb that was dropped in Hiroshima, Fat Man, was 22 kilotons of TNT. She is hundreds. She's dealing hundreds of times more kinetic energy than the Fat Man bombs did to Hiroshima. She is dealing more kinetic energy, more TNT tonnage of kinetic energy than the strongest strategical nuclear weapon that the United States has right now, by a good margin. So, if Rainbow Dash gets to top speed and then hits Trixie with a dive kick, that's it. That's game over. Like, done. It's done. And we've seen Rainbow Dash is somehow just incapable of taking damage from these high speed maneuvers, because she has kicked trees in half going really, really fast and just unaffected. So, hitting someone like Trixie, who is a lot softer than a tree, I might add, probably would have zero effects on her. So yeah, Rainbow Dash is fucking terrifying if she gets to Mach 10. The Sonic Rainboom is dumb. It's dumb. If she gets it off, she wins almost every. But she has more. She also has weather manipulation. She can create tornadoes, thunderstorms, rain, hail, snow. Realistically though, the only thing that she would be able to use is the tornadoes, because she needs clouds for the rest of it, right? She would have to go grab a cloud, bring it back, and then kick it to activate it to create a lightning strike. This, while she's really fast, would still take time, and Trixie could definitely prepare for something like this or see it coming. So I think the only applicable use of her weather effect would be the tornadoes she can cause, because she can make some pretty large tornadoes that have a pretty good effect on the rest of the battlefield, if not the combatant herself. So, moving on, we have the Blazing Buccaneer. I'm not going to use this. Every time it's being used, it's being shown off screen. We know it causes some kind of electrical explosion. That's about it. We don't know a whole lot besides that. We haven't seen what kind of damage it causes, really. So I'm just not going to use this. Which Rainbow Dash doesn't really need it. So let's move on quickly to traits and abilities, and then we'll wrap this up. So, Trixie's traits that can help her in this fight would be her sleight of hand. She's a con artist, she's conniving, she's smart, she knows how to distract people and kind of get them to pay attention to what she wants them to, as opposed to what they should be paying attention. That's about it. She's arrogant and overconfident, which so is Rainbow Dash, so that kind of evens out. She's been shown to be kind of a coward sometimes. She will run away from a threat rather than fight most of the time. But she's I would say she's smart. She's pretty smart, and she knows how to manipulate people. Moving on to Rainbow Dash's traits, she's got really, really good reaction speed. And I say this because she is able to control herself while flying at Mach 10. So she has to have really good reaction speed or she just wouldn't be able to control herself. So she has at least advanced reaction speed. I mean, like, Sharingan levels of reaction speed. Or else she couldn't do this. But she wouldn't be able to control herself in flight. She wouldn't be able to maneuver herself the way she needs to. She also has photogenic memory. Because it's shown in, I forget the name of the episode, but she can memorize things that she sees while flying. And kind of just auto-reacts to it. She doesn't even realize she's doing it. So while she's flying, she can remember anything that happens and automatically use it to her advantage. Or, you know, if it's something that she's asked about, she can automatically tell you without even having to think about it. Or realizing that she knows it. Which is very, very helpful in this situation. Because if Trixie uses a trick, say a smoke grenade while she's flying, she will notice the motion that Trixie goes to use it in. And the next time Trixie tries to do that, she'll know exactly what Trixie's trying to do. Just a little overlooked thing that a lot of people forget about Rainbow Dash. She's also got really good hearing. She was able to hear Apple Bloom say that they were out of cider from what appears to be about 2 miles away and over a hill. Being able to hear that from that far away shows that she has very, very good hearing. And she claims to be a black belt. I mean, in a fight, that's probably going to be pretty useful. She knows how to use her body in combat situations. So let's move on to the fight. Holy shit, Trixie gets fucking destroyed. I hate to be that guy. I like Trixie a lot, but no, there is nothing here that Trixie can do. So, if they start off close, like right in front of each other, Trixie has a better shot because most of Rainbow Dash's attacks are going to take some sort of charge up, or she wants to get to a certain speed to execute. So maybe Trixie can hit her with a beam, or a magic beam or bullet, or she could use telekinesis to stop her from moving away. But either way, Rainbow Dash is going to have that hand and hoof-to-hoof combat. She's just a trained fighter. She's a black belt. She's already showed that she can fight off several changelings at once, which I can only assume we're gaining the physical abilities of the main six when they were turning into them. So while she's not as strong as, say, Applejack, she's still pretty strong. She's still physically strong. So in hand-to-hand or hoof-to-hoof combat, Rainbow Dash is gonna win. The only chance Trixie has here is to immobilize Rainbow Dash with telekinesis, and then simultaneously use telekinesis to smash Rainbow Dash with a lot of objects, and then hit her with a bunch of bullets before she can react, and try and incapacitate her. I don't see that working. I just don't see that working. I think Rainbow Dash is way too durable for that. I think any situation where Trixie has to let go of her telekinesis to do anything else, Rainbow Dash is going to take that ability, or that opening, to fly away, gain speed, and then regain control of the battle. If they start at long distances, it's worse. It's much, much worse. Because Rainbow Dash will be able to come in from a long distance away, building up speed the whole time, and honestly, all she has to do is land a dive kick or two, going anywhere near her top speed, and that's just over. The kinetic energy she's going to impart on Trixie is just going to decimate her. So any physical contact Rainbow Dash makes after building up that speed is game. Good game. So this is the part where Rainbow Dash wins, but we need to talk about Trixie with the Alicorn Amulet for a second. If Trixie has the Alicorn Amulet, it's a bit different. It's still the same story, long range. I mean, you know, Rainbow Dash could build up enough speed to do the Sonic Rain Boom. GG. Trixie is disorientated, Rainbow Dash is moving at Mach 10 speeds. Anything she does, instantly ends the battle. Even if she doesn't hit the Rain Boom, she's still going fast enough to just destroy Trixie with any physical contact move. However, if they start off close together, and I mean within like 3 or 4 feet, this is completely different. The Alicorn Amulet gives Trixie a host of new abilities and shit that she can use to really just make Rainbow Dash a non-threat. She has age manipulation, she has body manipulation, she has mind control, she can create force fields, she has storm manipulation. Any one of these, maybe besides the storm manipulation, would be enough to take Rainbow Dash out of the fight. If she turns Rainbow Dash into an 80-year-old or a 2-year-old, Rainbow Dash can't fight. If she shrinks Rainbow Dash's wings down to nothing, or she makes them so large that Rainbow Dash can't control them, Rainbow Dash really has no recourse. She can't do anything. If Rainbow Dash is out of the air, she has no way to really combat Trixie's magic. And Rainbow Dash wouldn't be able to react in time. Even with her enhanced reaction speed, these beams are moving at the speed of light. So, like, there's just nothing she can do. All it would take was for one of these attacks to land, and Trixie wins. Now again, if they start off at long range, Rainbow Dash is going to be moving way too fast for Trixie to actually get a track on her and use her magic to her advantage. She may be able to put up a force field, but again, I don't think any force field that Trixie uses can survive what amounts to a nuclear warhead going off in kinetic impartment. There's just no way. So, if they start off at a long distance, even with the Alicorn Amulet, Trixie has no chance. Sonic Rainbow, GG. Game over. If they start off at short distances, I don't see Rainbow Dash winning. Anything Trixie can do to her, to hit her, would end the fight almost instantly. So, 3 out of 4 of these are going to go to Rainbow Dash. Base Trixie, either way, couldn't do anything to Rainbow Dash. But Trixie with the Alicorn Amulet, if they started off close enough, it wins. So, even though this was pretty one-sided, I think it was a pretty decent matchup once Trixie got the Alicorn Amulet. I don't think base Trixie was a good matchup, and that was probably my fault, because I kind of left the poll pretty open. But, tell me what you guys think. I like this video format. I like doing this kind of research. I'm linking the Facebook group down in the comments. Go join it, because that is where I will be doing the next poll for this video. See who fights next. Thanks for watching, guys. I really enjoyed this. If you enjoyed it, leave a like and share, because I want this video to get big. I spent a lot of time on it. I would really enjoy if more people saw it, because I want to do this more often. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.